Hey, happy day 802 of What's She Up To Now. She, S-H-E, being Sharon Horne-Ellstrom. Me, as I transition from the brick and mortar world of real businesses and corporate America to the online world of business. Started doing this, documenting my journey, 802 days ago, 801 days ago. Probably should have started a little sooner than that, but I was, of course, scared to be on video just like everybody else. But as my vision deteriorated and my ability to write and blog and document in the written form or journaling became pretty much impossible and pretty challenging, or more challenging than overcoming my fear of talking on video, I decided I would do a video journal and just a journal of my journey as I make this transition. Now, my original goal was to duplicate my offline success in the online world, and I haven't achieved that yet, so that's why I'm continuing to document and share my journey. Now, I had some pretty big successes to duplicate online, I'm not gonna lie. And so, you know, anything is possible anywhere, but I have not cracked the code in all areas to actually duplicate that success. Working on it, and you know what? This might be the time where I actually make that happen and pull that off. I want to talk today, though, about changing our mind, changing your mind, changing my mind. I changed my mind today about what I was going to talk about just this morning. I mapped out, I usually map out, I'm doing a 30-day challenge called Get Up and Go. And it's a 30-day challenge the entire month of April to deal with the COVID crisis and to deal with the challenge and how it's impacting all of us. Because no matter what, I haven't met a single person that isn't being impacted by the changes that are going on in our world. And guess what? We are going to all be globally impacted for years to come. This is not a little change that is happening. It's not an individual change that's happening. It's a global pandemic and a global change. So it's impacting all of us. And as such, I wanted to do something to have a positive influence on that, to do what I can do. I believe that it's important that each of us do what we can do with what we've got right now. And I wanted to demonstrate that, so I decided, you know, like a day or two before April 1st, when I found out that all of us were gonna be basically locked down for another 30 days, what can I do? Well, I can do a challenge that helps people work through how to handle challenges, so that I can ensure that from April 1, day 1 to day 30, every single person that comes in contact with this challenge will be and can be better off if they go through the steps and if they do it too. Well, I decided, I usually map it out the night before, what I'm going to do and what I'm going to talk about. I have, of course, a 30-day plan mapped out, and then if that changes, whenever it's a longer challenge, if it's longer than 5 days, I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to change the challenge days around based on what's going on and how people are responding. And so today was one of those days where I changed my mind on what I was going to cover, what I was going to do, what the action was going to be, everything. I changed everything about it. This morning, I changed my mind on what it was going to be and came up with and made up a whole new exercise, because it seemed like the right thing and the best thing to do right now, given where we all are. And given the new information that I am personally learning and growing and getting exposed to every single day. And most of it is reminders of things that I might have heard in my last, 50 years, but not paid attention to, but need to be reminded of. And so we're doing the Be Fat exercise today. Not that we want to be fat, but it stands for something that we each need to do and consider to move us forward in any challenge, any situation. Actually, any challenge, good or bad. I mean, challenges, we automatically assume that challenges are bad and they're obstacles and that change is bad, but there's a lot of changes that are awesome for us, right? When you get married, it's usually a good change. Should be a good change, or why are you getting married? If you're in a relationship, it should be a good relationship, or why are you in the relationship? No, I'm divorced, so maybe I'm not the best person to speak on that, but I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. So we need to change our mind, and actually, the absolute only thing any of us ever have control over is our thoughts about something, right? Our mind. And we things are going to happen to all of us every single day. I was participating in another challenge day before yesterday, and we had to talk about something, or I can't remember what it even was now, but I did a quick rundown of, I wanted to calculate how many challenges I think I've faced in my life. And I figured if I only faced one challenge a day, and we all face at least one challenge a day, right? just getting out of bed for a lot of people, me included, is a challenge. Every single day we have to get up out of bed and move. So even if we only faced one challenge a day in our entire life, I'm up over 21,000, like 21,925 or something would be where I am personally at. Well, that's a really underestimation, right? Because some challenges are greater than others. Not all challenges are created equally, but not all the challenges that we encounter are bad or negative, right? A lot of the challenges and choices that we make are good, and hopefully we're making more choices for our benefit than for our detriment, right? That's, I guess, my hope for myself, and I hope that's your hope for you as well. So changing our mind. But over the course of all of this, the only thing that we really absolutely positively ever can control is our mind and our reaction to things outside of us, right? We can't control the things outside of us, and we can feel bad, and we can make up excuses, and we can think it's awful and be victims, and it's not fair. But thank goodness, I thank goodness a lot that my dad taught my sisters and myself as we were growing up that life isn't fair. And fair is relative, right? It's like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. What I think is fair is totally different than what other people, but probably a lot of people think is fair. Fair, like beauty and everything else, is defined by us and our experiences and our past experiences and our beliefs and our feelings and our thoughts and everything. So we have to keep that in mind. And I hate to say this, but I get in lots of arguments. Reality is relative as well, right? Reality, my reality, is different than your reality and everybody else's reality on the planet, because we've all had different experiences. We've all had different, even if 100 people witness the same exact event, every single one of those 100 people will have a different experience with that event. I'm not making this up. Scientists have studied it and everything else. That's why when witnesses see something, every different witness can have an absolutely different version of how an accident happened. The courts love that. Lawyers love that stuff. Lawyers love that human beings see things differently based on their own perception and their own point of view and their own angle and their own experiences. We filter everything through our own lens of experience, and that can be good, but that can be bad. It depends on the experiences we've had. It depends on how we interpret those experiences, because we're all capable of thinking about, deciding, and choosing and interpreting things the way that we want. We can interpret things in ways that serve us, or we can interpret things and decide they mean something in ways that don't serve us. And I will admit, I've done both. I've taken situations and I have made them worse in my mind and my imagination because I didn't know better. And even sometimes when we know better, we still fall into the trap or get triggered to do that. I still will get triggered and upset by certain things that happen. Nobody can trigger me faster and easier than my ex-husband. I don't know why. Probably because he knows me so well. But he knows what tone of voice, what to say, what phrases, everything to just tip me over. Even now, after we've been divorced for a long time and I don't really have to deal with him on much, he, even in phone conversations, he can still, if he wants to, trigger me. And as much as I try to fight it, and usually I do, just take a deep breath and blow it off, but still once in a while I'll get off the phone and I'll be like, oh my God, that was the most exasperating thing that I've ever heard. So he can still trigger me. And we have people like that. We have situations like that. We have experiences that we've had that will continually trigger us no matter what. It's like with our beliefs. Some of our beliefs are so deeply seated that it's hard to let go of them. And when we least expect it, no matter how much work we've done on ourselves, no matter how much we think we've developed and grown and gotten better as a person, it's amazing the little funky beliefs that will sneak in whenever we're in a time of stress, a time of change, a time of high pressure. And we're all in that right now. We're all kind of in this little Boilermaker of uncertainty, wondering what the heck's going to happen. And nobody knows, right? And I think that's the hardest part, is nobody knows exactly what's going to happen and how this is going to shake out. We know that we can prepare ourselves for whatever happens. And that's my strategy, is I'm preparing myself and everybody that I can possibly help to be ready for whatever happens, however the world is, however it shakes out over the next few years, because we're at the point now with it's had enough impact that we're not going back to the way the world was before. So many businesses, I would think every business in some way, shape, or form will return, but will be changed, will be forever changed. And each and every one of us on the planet will be forever changed, having gone through this experience. There's no way to not be changed. But we can decide to be changed for the better, or we can decide to be changed for our detriment. I'm going to say, let's all be changed for the better, because I think the world needed to be a better place. It's kind of like a huge wake-up call for the planet and for all of us on the planet. I choose to look at it that way. And how can I make sure that I and myself and everybody else that I come in contact is better off for having been through this change than not? I know that whenever I look back on the points in my life that were the biggest challenges and that I thought were the worst, and I thought there was no way I was going to survive them, it turns out that they were the biggest turning points and getting me back on the right road for myself and for my life. Didn't feel like it at the time. I gotta tell you, waking up in the hospital and not knowing where you are and having been in a coma and having been dead, there's nothing to prepare you for that. And at the time, it feels like the worst possible thing that could have ever happened in the world. But looking back on it, after you work your way through it and you figure it all out and you move forward, when you look back on those events, those are the events that changed your life. Those are the things that we remember and that we see that we've transformed and become different than we were before. And those are the pivot points. Those are the points that define our life. And when we do find our final resting time and place, those will be the points, and those will be the things that we take along with us. I'm not even going to get into that, because a whole lot of different philosophies and beliefs about that are mine, and it doesn't matter if you believe them or not. So, did the Get Up and Go Challenge. Did it actually before this video today, which is kind of fun. I like to mix it up sometimes. Sometimes I'll do it before, sometimes I'll do it after. Today was day 93 for the 365-day fun challenge, and it was actually about when we promise that we won't do something, all of a sudden we want to do it. And isn't that the truth of like our bad habits? I noticed that especially true of like bad habits and things that we promise people we're not going to do. Oh, I promise I'm not going to drink. Oh, I promise I'm not going to smoke. I promise I'm not going to do whatever. I'm not going to eat sweets. Mine is right now, I want to cut down on sweets. I might do another 10-day sugar challenge, but I was thinking about it this morning. I'm like, oh, it's Easter this weekend. I'm not going to commit to that yet, because I know there's caramel chocolate eggs coming out, right? And I know there's some of those in my future. So I think after Easter, maybe I'll do a 10-day sugar challenge and cut out all sugar for 10 days, just because sometimes my body needs a jump start. And that's really got nothing to do with the COVID-19 challenge. It has to go with, I know when I'm sneaking into my bad habits, even though I promised myself that I'm not going to do them. And that's the most important thing. It's the promises to ourselves that we break that are the critical ones. It doesn't matter what we tell other people, because they're not living in our body and in our mind. It's the commitments that we make to ourselves that are critical, that we uphold those, just for our own personal integrity. So that's it. That's all I've got today. If you are struggling in any way, I want to invite you to join the Get Up and Go Challenge. It's free. We're not that far into it, and you can always go back and listen to the previous messages and previous lessons. I'm not going to take them down. They're going to be up forever. I don't tend to take my challenges down ever. I put them up, and I put my content out there, and it's out there forever, and there's a lot of it. I tend to ramble, sorry, but not sorry. Sometimes that's what we need, is just, what are my thoughts? What's my thought process? And this is the journal then, where I'm documenting what I'm learning and what's working and what's not working. And I did learn yesterday that this is a great time to fill the holes in what you've been doing. It's a great time, and I already know this and I've been doing it. This is the time to work on the projects and do the things, if you're off work, that is, with people. If you've got kids, put them to work. My 4-year-old granddaughter is helping me to go through and sort through and do things in the basement. We do an hour a day of, she's working on her toys and stuff, and I'm working on other stuff, just to get it organized so that we're moving forward and making progress every day. Enlist the help of other people. Enlist the help of your kids. If you're in quarantine or stay at home or safer at home with other people, you don't have to be doing it all yourself, because they're probably bored and looking for things to do too. Yep, they might have to do their schoolwork, they might have to do some of that, but there's still lots of time that we're all together that we can build on, instead of not doing things that are productive. That's it. If I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I will view you tomorrow.